Yes, people. Welcome to another episode of the Finished Article and welcome to All Things Wrestling. As the title says, we're going to be talking about Johnny Gargano, we're going to be talking about Kyle O'Reilly, and we're going to be talking about Jeff Hardy. All three major developments in wrestling over the past couple of days. Before I get into it, I'm going to bring my boy on. Here we go. Shaz is here. He's live and kicking.
Simon, bro.
Good, bro. You?
Yes, I just need to bring up one thing.
Yeah.
So
whilst he tries to find what he brings up, social media is at the bottom. It was at the bottom. It was at the bottom. It is now. Social media follows across Facebook, Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel and all that good stuff. But as I said, we're talking about Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Jeff Hardy in this episode. And as Shaz says, I'm not going to repeat that. I'll let Shaz say it if he wants to.
Yeah.
So firstly, Johnny Gargano had an emotional farewell on NXT on Tuesday night. I thought the speech was good, but the ending of it was bad. They had Grayson Waller come out and attack him with a steel chair. They had him powerbomb through a table. And I don't understand why they did it. They had such a good send-off for him, and then they had him being attacked by some new guy that's useless anyway. I just don't think that they did that really well. They could have let Johnny Gargano just go, and maybe that the way they let him go there shows that they think that Gargano's not going to re-sign with them. They're trying to make him look weak.
I think he's gone.
I don't think he'll come back to WWE or NXT for that matter. I think February, he said his kids are going to be born. So he's going to take another 3 months on top of that. So about 6 months down the line, we'll see Johnny Gargano. At that point, Ring of Honor will be back. And I think his style of wrestling fits Ring of Honor brilliantly. I think he'll end up in Ring of Honor. If he goes to AEW, he's going to get lost in the shuffle, just like Adam Cole has. If you've noticed, Adam Cole he's just not being used right in AEW. It's like he's a mid-carder over there now.
Can I jump in on that? So
yeah, go for
it. Both Adam Cole and the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, that retard, yeah.
Mate, we're about the legend.
Carry on.
They both went over to AEW. So why has Bryan Danielson got a push and Adam Cole got lost in the shuffle? What happened?
I don't know, man. It's just stupid. Adam Cole should not be having trio matches every week or fighting mid-carders. He should be fighting main eventers week on, week out, because his performances in NXT prove that he's a main eventer. I think he should. Daniel Bryan only got where he is because Jon Moxley pulled out of the tournament, and they just decided to stick Daniel Bryanson in. It was actually meant to be CM Punk, but CM Punk had his issue with Eddie Kingston, so he decided not to join the tournament. Otherwise, we'd be seeing CM Punk versus Adam Page at Winter is Coming on Wednesday next week. I just think it's really stupid the way that they've pushed or not pushed Adam Cole.
There's one other thing I want to bring up and get your thoughts on MJF.
Yeah, we'll get to that later, bro. We'll get to that later. Come on, man. We'll get to the juicy stuff later, bro. Come on, bro. We'll get to the good stuff later.
You want to go through the boring stuff?
You've got to go through all the other stuff first, bro. That's what this show is about. We'll get to the good stuff at the end. So if people want to tune in and know what we think of MJF and CM Punk, they'll have to wait till the end of the show. But yeah, Johnny Gargano. Let's get back to Johnny. I've watched him for 6 years in NXT. I've been watching NXT since 2015. When I started watching it, I went back and watched from when it first started. So I've watched pretty much all of NXT. And Johnny Gargano is probably what everyone calls him, the heart and soul of NXT. It's like you have Shawn Michaels on somewhere. He is Mr. WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels was always known as Mr. WrestleMania, and Johnny Gargano is known as Mr. NXT or Mr. Takeover.
Yeah.
And without him, NXT is they're going to be missing a big piece of the puzzle.
So I remember, so Shaz basically messaged me the other day saying Gargano's left WWE, and I remember messaging him back saying the very same thing, that rest in peace WWE, because they
You did, yeah. That's exactly what you said to me.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that.
What
Now,
you told me, yeah.
WWE could have dealt with the farewell towards the end of it. Like the speech and everything was really good. I really enjoyed the speech. It was very emotional. Gargano was crying and all that. But the way they had Grayson Waller just attack him before he finished at the end of his speech was stupid. Like he just basically destroyed him, put a chair around his neck, smashed his throat, power bombed him through a table, and the end of NXT was Johnny Gargano laying on the floor, passed out. It's like, is that how you send off someone who's giving you his, blood, sweat, and tears for 6 years in the company? You don't do that. And that's the problem with WWE. They treat talent, whether they're still there or whether they're just leaving, they treat them like shit.
I think it's basically a demise of a company that knows it's losing its best talent.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Gargano turned up in AEW or Ring of Honor instead of NXT when he decides what he's going to do in the future. Another person whose contract has expired is the third founding member of the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly. He founded Undisputed Era with Bobby Fish and Adam Cole, who are both at this moment in AEW. Now, WWE did similar to Kyle O'Reilly that they did with Johnny Gargano. The only thing different was Kyle O'Reilly had a steel cage match against Von Wagner. He lost, which I was expecting. Kyle O'Reilly, I would expect him to put a younger talent over on his way out, which he did. Right, I was fine with the loss, but then why have Wagner destroy him at the end of it just to make him look weak? Because WWE are scared that Kyle O'Reilly is going to end up in AEW. So they want to make him look weak before he gets there. And they did the same with Adam Cole when he left NXT, because his last match was actually against Kyle O'Reilly and he lost it. So there's a pattern, like people who are leaving, their contracts are expiring or whatever, they lose, and then they get made to look really weak by getting attacked by someone. This is what WWE do, and it's a big pattern. It happened to Rusev, who's now known as Miro in AEW.
Yeah.
His leaving storyline was about him, his wife, and Bobby Lashley, and Liv Morgan that turned up in it as well. It was a stupid storyline, and that's the reason he left. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lana turns up in AEW as his manager soon, because she left WWE as well. It's just crazy. Like this is what WWE are just getting rid, or they're pushing out all this talent for what reason? And the worst thing is they're pushing someone like Austin Theory on Raw with Vince McMahon at his side. Like, he literally just came out on Raw and attacked Finn Balor. And now he's going to end up beating Finn Balor. Like, that doesn't happen, man. In no way, shape, or form does Austin Theory beat Finn Balor. And that's another person who's going to either end up back in NXT or in AEW or Ring of Honor is Finn Balor.
I think.
But what are your thoughts on Kyle O'Reilly? Like,
yeah, I think it's a sad demise of a company that's losing its way. I remember
we spoke about Kyle O'Reilly earlier in the last episode.
I remember Kyle O'Reilly had an epic feud with Adam Cole just before
Adam Cole left.
Which was epic. And I can see that continuing. I think Kyle
I don't think it will. I don't think that'll continue. I think Kyle O'Reilly will turn up in AEW and the Undisputed Era will be back together again.
I can see it happening, yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they carry on the feud for a bit. And then later down the line, maybe Adam Cole and Bobby Fish turn on the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And they have Kyle O'Reilly at the side in a 3v3 feud, which I think will be brilliant. The Undisputed Era versus Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks would be an amazing feud. especially in AEW because they have more freedom of how they're going to do the match.
Creative, yeah.
And I think, creatively, I think it would be a massive feud for AEW. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega versus Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole. And I wouldn't be surprised if Roderick Strong left WWE when his contract's up as well, and he turns up and you've got the Undisputed Era back together again. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened because Undisputed Era was the best thing that ever happened to NXT. And splitting the Undisputed Era was a stupid move. Mm-hmm. And AEW knows that. And AEW will cash in on that by bringing them all to AEW, putting them together as a group, and cashing in on merchandise sales just for that group alone. Like they were probably one of the best selling merchandise. The Undisputed Era had the best selling merchandise in NXT, if you ask me. So that's the way I see that going. The next piece of news, as we've all heard, is Jeff Hardy has been released from WWE. This is due to most likely substance abuse again. The news was that he turned up at a house show. He was in a trio match, 3-on-3. He tagged out. He went into the crowd and just never came back. Like they had to actually send security to try and find the guy. WWE offered to pay for his rehab and therapy, and he actually declined. And then he got released. Now I see him getting clean and then going to AEW and joining Matt. I would love to see Matt and Jeff Hardy in AEW wrestle FTR, the Lucha Bros, the Young Bucks, and all these other great tag teams like Santana and Ortiz. The Acclaimed are another good team. I'd love to see the Hardys like infused with these teams, but obviously the Hardy Boys would have to put some of them over because they're the older team and they're going to be retiring soon. So it makes sense for a big team like that to put over some of the younger teams to give them more credibility in AEW. Now, I've noticed a pattern with Jeff Hardy, though, is whenever Matt's not with him in the company, he goes off the rails.
Yeah.
Like, he went off the rails just now, Matt Hardy's not there. The last time he went off the rails in WWE, Matt Hardy wasn't there. He went off the rails in TNA, Matt Hardy wasn't there. So it's a pattern. It's like he needs his brother there to keep him stable and off drugs, which is really bad. So he should be getting the help, and I hope he gets the help that he needs. And I hope he's all right. Like, it's just mad.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really sad to see because I grew up watching Jeff Hardy through the Attitude Era as a tag team with his brother, and they were a brilliant tag team, and I think they revolutionized some of the tag team wrestling that you see now. Like some of the double team moves, like they weren't done before the Hardys did it. So the originators of tag team wrestling was the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. They revolutionized some of it in certain ways, and the Hardy Boys followed the Rockers, and they revolutionized tag team wrestling even more. To the point where people are, do them type of moves because the Hardys invented it, that type of wrestling, double team moves, and high flying tag teams. Before the Hardys, who were the high flying tag teams, bro? There weren't any. You had the Hardys and then Edge and Christian doing them type of things. Those two tag teams revolutionized it.
Let me throw you off a tangent here. So we're just talking about greatest tag teams, and how do you compare the Usos and New Day with the previous generation?
The Usos probably one of my favorite tag teams of all time. So you can't compare that generation to like the Hardy generation. It's just impossible because in the Attitude Era, the wrestlers had more creative over their matches, and now Vince has stopped them doing certain moves to protect the wrestlers, and I understand why, but it is a bad move. In certain moves are banned in WWE, like they can't do them. So the Usos, New Day, and other teams like that, they can't do those moves that they might want to do. But in AEW, they could if they went there.
That's what I mean.
So like the Usos would never leave WWE though. Like the Inoue family are really like pro WWE. Like they've all been through WWE. You had Yokozuna, Umaga, you've had The Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson, and The Rock's granddad, High Chief Peter Maivia. And you've got the Usos' younger brother, and there's others, but they're not well known. But you had the Wild Samoas. Sorry, they were another big team from there.
Yeah.
That family is very like close to Vince McMahon. I don't know if you've seen a TV show called Young Rock.
Yeah.
It's a show about The Rock when he was younger with his mum and dad, and it shows how close he was to like Andre the Giant, Iron Sheik, Macho Man, and all these other wrestlers. But it also shows a little bit of the relationship between The Rock's family and WWE. And you see that it is a very close relationship. So I don't think Roman Reigns, the Usos, and that family will ever leave WWE for AEW. They won't do that to Vince, I don't think.
Yeah.
Just because of the history that the families have with each other. The Rock's family, like High Chief Peter Maivia, Rocky Johnson, they're all very loyal people, and I think these lot are as well.
Fair enough, yeah.
I mean, I would like to see the Usos maybe take on the Young Bucks or some of the other tag teams that they haven't faced before. But the only way that's going to happen, I think, is if they come to WWE, or if WWE and AEW magically, partner up and do inter-promotional pay-per-view. But it'd have to be very crazy for him to do something like that, if you ask me. I don't think either company would want to do that, because either company won't want their wrestlers to lose on that card. So we'll get on to your topic now, bro. MJF versus CM Punk, and it is brewing up nicely, bro.
I watched
the promo that CM Punk did in MJF's hometown was absolutely crazy. He came out to MJF's music first, and then he absolutely rips Long Island, New York a new one. It was crazy. And then MJF looked like he was going to come out and help Dante Martin at the end of the Diamond Battle Royal, but then he came out and attacked him. I thought it was really funny, man. It looked like he's like, oh, you know what? I'll go help him. It's my hometown. I'll be a hero here. He came down and he helped Ricky Starks beat him up. It was funny, man.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching that before we jumped on. Like before we jumped on the podcast today, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? But that CM Punk pipe bomb was hilarious because he literally ripped Long Island a new one. Said Chicago is way louder than.
He's like, is that all you've got? Come on, Chicago was louder.
And then he was referring to like
he was ripping into their
Chicago
sports
Bulls
teams and stuff.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I enjoyed it.
It was really funny, man, to watch. I absolutely love them promos, man. That's why I like AEW. They go down that route that WWE won't do. WWE always have the hometown hero usually win in the hometown.
I have to resort to watching old WWE promos to enjoy it. Because
like The Rock and Austin, or Triple H and Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly.
I see this feud going on for a bit. CM Punk laid the challenge to MJF for, I think it'll be the next pay-per-view, which will be January. It's in March, actually. Revolution. I think it'll build up till there, and the winner of this will fight the winner of whoever's the world title holder at the time. But I don't see CM Punk losing to MJF. I don't really see it happening.
No.
I'd like to see CM Punk put MJF over, because it'll just give MJF more heat, and he's such a good heel. I'd love to see it, but I don't think CM Punk would put him over right now.
So the funny thing, CM Punk has had to face Eddie Kingston, who he lost his shit, and now MJF has come onto the picture, and I think what he's doing is actually he's helping bring up these talents, which is really funny because we're all pro CM Punk, and we're watching these guys, and I didn't realize it. But the funny thing is, you start to realize how valuable the heel role is. So that with Roman Reigns,
Yeah. I
the
mean, without
bloodline.
Roman Reigns being heel, WWE won't even be watchable right now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny. Back in when I was growing up, I used to say, "Why the fuck would you want to be a heel? You don't
Yeah.
want to be a heel.
But
You want
now
to be
you
good."
understand the importance of the
Yeah,
heel role.
because it suits certain characters.
Yeah.
Like
It's like
just
it wouldn't suit someone like Jungle Boy
yeah.
because he's so over with the fans. But saying that Daniel Bryan's really over the fans, but he plays a really good heel.
Oh yeah, he does.
Like he did it in WWE where he had like the wooden title belt.
Yeah.
But now he's a heel again. I think it's really good.
No, but,
It's a
but do
good
you know
switch on
what?
the character.
I know you hate Brian Danielson or Daniel Bryan.
I don't
Even
hate
though,
him though. No, that's a very strong word, bro. I don't hate him.
okay,
I
let me
think he's a
explain.
brilliant wrestler. He's one of the best wrestlers I've seen.
I know he's not your favorite, but the reason I like him now is because he's actually got a voice. So in WWE, the last time I heard him have a voice was WrestleMania 30 when he literally
Yeah,
got the
that's when
crowd.
he was that was when he was at his peak with the
That
fans.
that for me was the best WrestleMania because it kicked off with The Rock, Austin, and obviously Hulk Hogan.
Nah, bro, the only reason you like that WrestleMania is because DB won. He beat Batista and he beat Randy Orton and Triple H on the same night for
Well,
the
no,
title.
it kind of made up for it. I'm still pissed off at the fact that they made the Undertaker lose. I'll never
Oh, bro,
forget
don't
because
let's not get into that, bro. We've done a whole podcast episode on that.
no, we will always go into that. Fuck you, Vince. Fuck you. I'm saying it. Fuck you, cunt. I'm saying, bro. No holds barred.
Oh man, this guy's going sick on
Okay.
Vince. You really don't like Vince, do you? Like when you say I hate Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, you really hate Vince McMahon, don't you? Let's be
Yeah,
honest. Let's talk about this a little bit, bro. Come on.
guys, see now, bro. He's done. I mean, let's go, bro. Do one, bro.
So
Take him to the OAP. Take him to retirement.
how much do you hate Vince, bro? Let's be honest.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
100.
100, yeah. Pretty good. I mean, okay, let me explain my rationale. So I grew up watching WWE, and Shaz is the only one that has convinced me to go with the AEW, which is I don't regret it. But the problem I've got is we are seeing a brand here that literally we grew up watching.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the things that we have nostalgic about that we used to hang out together, watch it. Now we're like we spend half the time dissing it, and we're like, I was thinking about this thing, something I enjoyed so much. Why do I hate it? And it's because the same guy that literally has run it for 30 odd years, he needs to hand it over. But the problem is he's not going to hand anything over. It's going to be dead by the time there'll be no one left.
So just to interrupt you there, bro. You talked a bit about he needs to hand it over, yeah?
Yeah,
Now there's talk of who would take over after Vince McMahon obviously passes away or gives it up to someone else. The talk is that it will be Nick Khan, who's currently working under Vince McMahon. He's the reason behind all these budget cuts as well. He's one of the reasons behind all the budget cuts and the changes in WWE that we don't like. So if he
yeah,
takes over, I see WWE being sold within 2 or 3 years of him taking over.
yeah.
He's going to he's going to milk it for all he can, and then he's going to sell to someone like Warner Brothers or Disney or someone, and then WWE is just going to go to shit, bro. You know who should buy it? Tony Khan. Imagine Tony Khan bought WWE and we had a WWE invasion angle of AEW. Done properly, though. The
Oh, yeah.
invasion angle done properly, that would be amazing because the amount of matches you could get with the talent that they both have now would be amazing. Like Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns. That'd be a brilliant match. The Usos versus the Young Bucks or Santana or Ortiz.
Yeah.
You've got loads of potential for really good matches, like Seth Rollins versus Kenny Omega. That's another good match. It'd be a potential for like the best invasion you could ever have.
Yeah, no, I agree. But guys, I know me and Shaz have gone on a bit.
Yeah,
Absolute
yeah,
brilliant
man.
episode today. We will be covering more over the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned. We both have a few errands to run, so we're going to cut this one short here. But thanks very much for tuning in. Brilliant episode. As always, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. Socials are below. So if you feel like there's something you want us to cover, just drop us a note below. And by all means, we are on the race to 200, as Shaz has mentioned. So please share this on your social media feeds, get the likes out. And until next time, we'll see you soon.
Appreciate everyone tuning in. Before we go, I'm not doing the Too Sweet Bro. I'm doing the Undisputed Era.
Nice.
That's for Kyle O'Reilly, that one. I don't know what Johnny Gargano's is. I think he does this, doesn't he? Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. Oh, man.